Straight ahead on CCX News, an unexpected afternoon off from school, what forced Wayzata High to turn into evacuation mode. Plus, a warning for drivers hitching up and headed out of town.
Trailer crashes can be pretty nasty.
Tips for properly hooking up a trailer. And caught up in a costly conundrum, what this Plymouth Horse Club wishes would happen. CCX News starts right now. Well, thanks for joining us. The school day at Wayzata High School took an unexpected turn.
A fire summoned crews from around the region and forced an evacuation of the entire school. Reporter Shannon Slatton was there.
It was a Friday to remember at Wayzata High School. Students waited outside of the school building, not sure what to think about the fire alarm.
Everybody thought it was a senior prank, and then they saw like the fire trucks actually move in.
But not some students who were closer to the actual fire.
I was late to class, right? So I was walking late to class, and I was walking right by the lunchroom, and I was like, yo, something's burning.
This 10th grader says he was in the music production room when he heard the fire alarm.
They're like this close, so the pottery and kiln was really close to the music production room, and everybody had to go out, and they all had to go to the bleachers. So when we were on the bleachers, we saw like 4 fire trucks come, and then it was like 6, and then 8 fire trucks came, and then now there's 13.
Fire departments from around the metro responded to a call of a fire in the school's art room.
It was in the kiln in the art room, and obviously those kilns, they burn hot already.
School spokesperson Jeffrey DeMars says around 10:45 Friday morning, an assistant principal noticed something wasn't right with the kiln and called 911.
There was smoke. People smelled it, there was a fire, and then there's an evacuation that took place, and it wasn't just limited to that room, it was an entire school-wide evacuation.
The fire was contained to the art room, but there could be smoke damage. As firefighters worked, students filled up the football stadium and waited.
Once we had them in a place where they wouldn't be harmed, and once we realized there were no injuries, the fire was contained, then it was just a matter of figuring out, all right, do we go back in? Do we let the kids go home? And now all the kids have gone home.
There's no word yet on exactly how the fire started. That's under investigation. As of now, school is expected to begin as usual Tuesday morning. In Plymouth, Shannon Slatton, CCX News.
And evening activities at the school will proceed as planned. Memorial Day weekend is the unofficial start to summer, a time when many hit the roads and head north.
But before you hitch up your boat or trailer, there are some important safety checks to make, and here's reporter Sonia Goins.
Mike and Alex, every year hundreds of people are killed in accidents involving trailer hitches that were not properly secured. Here's what you need to know this Memorial Day weekend to stay safe.
36 million people will hit the roads this holiday weekend. Many will tow boats and haul other items, but those lake cabin dreams could turn into nightmares if drivers aren't careful.
Well, the trailer could fall and become a hazard in the roadway.
Any bump in the road or quick turn could cause trouble for your trailer.
Anytime that you're hooking up a trailer to the vehicle, you want to make sure that you have the proper hitch for the weight that you're hauling.
Many trailers have sat outside all winter and fell victim to harsh conditions.
I need to get a new ball because it's rusty.
Carla Hurling of Crystal likes to haul rocks and other items.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
She's constantly checking her hitch. Her biggest complaint is other motorists driving too close to trailers.
Back off. Give them plenty of room.
Broadway Rental in Brooklyn Park is expected to have lots of trailer rentals this weekend.
I'm sure all of our trucks will be gone, most of our trailers, it'll be very packed.
Before trailers leave the lot, experts make sure customers know the do's and don'ts of hooking up a trailer.
These are the standard hitches, just with the lockdown top.
And one of the most important parts is this pin.
So you always want to have your lock-in pin. It'll slide through these 2 holes. And then that way, you're nice and secure, and the trailer's not coming off your ball.
Safety chains are also very important should something happen to your trailer hookup.
You want to put them crossed. That way, if it were to ever happen that your trailer falls off your vehicle, you have this cradle down here.
Experts say taking a little time to do things correctly will not only protect property, but also save lives.
Safety first.
Sonia Goins, CCX News.
If you are hitching up your boat to enjoy the Twin Lakes, this weekend is a good one to do it before a boat launch closes. The ramp on Lower Twin Lake in Robbinsdale will close on June 1st. The existing 11-foot wide ramp has reached the end of its useful life, and it will be replaced with a 20-foot wide concrete ramp that will extend into deeper water. Construction is expected to take up to 8 weeks. And hauling that boat will cost a lot more this Memorial Day weekend.
Gas prices have gone up considerably since last year. At gas stations near Highway 252 and I-94, the price was $2.85. 1 year ago, we were paying $2.35 on average. According to TwinCitiesGasPrices.com, some prices were already above $3 a gallon. Memorial Day weekend kicks off what the Minnesota State Patrol calls the 100 deadliest days. The State Patrol says summer is more deadly on the roads than winter. That's because more people are on the highways and more drive faster because road conditions are better. Most drivers can absorb the impact of an accident at posted speed limits, but when vehicles crash at excessive speeds, there's a huge difference.
The car can only absorb so much of that energy, and the human body just is not capable of taking that kind of impact. And that's consequently what we see in the summertime. The speeds go up, and the collisions are much, much more severe, and in some cases just not even survivable.
And remember to buckle up. Only 8% of Minnesota drivers do not wear a seatbelt, but they comprise over 30% of fatal accidents.
A local lawmaker says Northwest Metro highway projects may be the best thing to come out of the legislative session. Senator John Hoffman of Champlin points to a project in Ramsey and the $4 million interchange plan for Highway 169 on the northern edge of Brooklyn Park.
Of course, 169 and 101st, the interchange there, that was something that I was a chief author on that was in from the very beginning. But then also we looked at a continuation of Highway 10, especially around Thurston and Ramsey, which was a continuation of what we had started a few years ago with Armstrong. And also one of the things that got added in at the end too was the fixing of 252, which I think is important for all of us in the North Metro.
Those items are in the bonding bill, which the governor has not acted on yet. Hoffman also lists shoring up pensions for state workers and teachers as a major accomplishment, but he says thousands of disabled and elderly Minnesotans are at risk because nothing was done about a 7% cut to reimbursement rates for caregivers.
And we know our aging population, we know those people that are counting government to do what they need to do, which is that's right in the box. Those are truly government services for protecting those folks that have disability and those that are elderly. And I'm disappointed that there was no real urgency to help fix that.
Senator Hoffman says the bill should have been considered separately and not included with other bills that the governor vetoed. Well, still ahead, why a Plymouth nonprofit is forced to saddle up and adjust to much higher property taxes.
Plus, the heat is on at the Northwest Suburban Conference Track and Field Championships. That's coming up later in sports.
But first, the heat is rising. Memorial Day weekend is going to be the hottest in more than a decade.
New homes are being built in Plymouth at a record pace.
Why the Wayzata School District voted to reshape attendance boundaries, forcing some families to switch schools. But as Delane Cleveland explains, it's not the only group inconvenienced by the rapid growth.
Along County Road 47 in Plymouth, you can see signs of the city's changing landscape.
And as you can see, we're now surrounded by housing developments.
Brand new homes are on display for potential buyers, and other properties are in various stages of construction. But tucked between the new developments sits the home of the Silver Buckle Saddle Club.
This is our saddle club. It's been our saddle club for over 40 years.
Annie Michelson is one of the members. She's been coming here for 16 years to ride, practice, and compete in horse shows.
Part of our club is just a big support system, so we all know each other, we know each other's horses. You sometimes only recognize people when they're on their horse. It's that much a part of who you are at the saddle club.
The members consider this 11-acre site as their own little community.
The horse world is big but small, so everyone kind of knows each other. It's a great community to be a part of.
Membership to this community has its benefits. Aside from the friends and memories made here, the members also own the property.
It's Silver Buckle owned. The not-for-profit owns this place, and we all are able to come and ride because we are members.
However, ownership also brings a certain set of challenges. They're responsible for paying the property tax, which has skyrocketed to more than $9,400, thanks to the surrounding development and higher market value on the property.
It's been really frustrating. We have to work really hard to raise money, and we have to focus a lot more on that than having fun and just enjoying it.
To help pay that bill, they've secured several sponsors who've placed signs on their property. But the hope is that they'll get more people to come out to horse shows and help support their fundraising efforts to keep the club alive.
There's so many memories. It has a big sentimental attachment to us.
In Plymouth, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
The club is hosting a fundraiser Saturday featuring a horse show and silent auction, and we have more information about that at our website, ccxmedia.org. Well, still ahead, we explore art in 3D in Robbinsdale.
But first, local boys golf players play their final conference tournament. Jay Wilcox has the details coming up next in sports.
I'm Jay Wilcox with sports. We're heading down the home stretch of the high school track and field season. Maple Grove, the site for the Northwest Suburban Conference meet. The girls 100 hurdles, Maple Grove's Heather Ryan is the winner with a time of 15:58. The boys 110 hurdles is a close race. Osseo's Tyler Seelock guts out the win with a time of 15:64. Seelock also wins the 300 hurdles. Boys 4x800 meter relay, the Park Center team of Stephen Iobomadelli, Dominic Fees, Bill Pio, and anchor Justin Knacklin take first place. In the boys long jump, Champlin Park's Ernest Wardlow is second with a best of 22.5 3/4. Back on the track, Park Center's Austin Peters wins the 400 meters with a time of 50.11. Osseo's Kelsey Seelock, after finishing second in the 100 hurdles, wins the 300 hurdles with a time of 45.34. Ryan is second. The girls 200 meter dash, Park Center 8th grader Lobenra Ben wins a tight race. Ben is also third in the triple jump. Here are the final team scores. Anoka wins the boys title with a score of 104.3, 3 points ahead of Blaine. Maple Grove is third with Park Center fourth. Champlin Park is eighth and Osseo is ninth. Blaine wins the girls conference title well ahead of runner-up Anoka. Osseo is the top local school coming in seventh. The Orioles are followed by Champlin Park, Park Center, and Maple Grove. Armstrong and Totino Grace tie for 12th. Section meets are next week across Minnesota. The top two seeds in the Section 5 4A softball tournament, Centennial and Maple Grove, lost in the second round of that double elimination tournament. That meant fourth seeded Champlin Park faced third seed Rogers in the winner's bracket final. After Holly Blaska's triple in the top of the third, a wild pitch allows Blaska to scamper home to give Champlin Park a 2-0 lead over Rogers. With the Rebels up 3-0 in the fifth, Grace Warwa connects. She drives it over the fence and right center for a 2-run homer. Champlin Park continues to score plenty of runs in this tournament. They lead it 5-0. Pitcher Piper Otto does a great job protecting the lead. She gets Emma Brezen on strikes in the bottom of the fifth to help keep the shutout going for the Rebels. And Champlin Park's offense produces more runs late. Aaron Reardon puts it in play to second to allow Hannah Noah to score for a 6-0 lead in the sixth. Then Emma Berge will line a hit to right. It scores Lexi Steffes and Blaska. The Rebels make it 8-0. And they get the job done defensively too. Catcher Noah gets a good read on the pop-up and is able to start a double play. Champlin Park is red hot as they thump Rogers 9-0 to advance to the section final. In other games, Maple Grove eliminated Spring Lake Park, while Osseo's season ends with a 4-0 loss to Centennial. Maple Grove and Centennial play Tuesday at 4 o'clock at Rogers, with the winner of that game playing Rogers at 6. Champlin Park will then host the section championship game Thursday afternoon at 4. Boys golfers in the Northwest Suburban held their final conference tournament on a warm and muggy Thursday. Bunker Hill's the site as Cameron Baxley of Champlin Park tees off. He cards an 83 to tie for 30th. This is Dylan Hansen of Maple Grove taking aim at an eagle putt on East hole number 4. It's just short, but Hansen will tap in for birdie on his way to tying for medalist honors with a 72. He ties Elk River's Brady Holland for first. Michael Soro of Champlin Park lines up the short par putt on East course number 2. Soro shoots a 77. He ties for 10th place. Nate Adams of Maple Grove with a nice chip on East 3. He puts it within 2 feet, leading to a par. Adams shoots a 79 to tie for 16th. Lefty Jared Dickey of Osseo will just miss on a birdie try here on West number 1. He makes the par putt on the way to an 81. His teammate Zach Tyson loses his tee shot in the woods on West hole number 1, but recovers with this putt as Tyson cards an 82. Maple Grove edges Elk River by 1 stroke, but the Elks win the overall conference title with Maple Grove 2nd, Totino Graces 4th, Osseo 6th, Champlin Park 8th, and Armstrong is 10th. That's all for sports. We'll be right back.
A chance meeting of 2 neighbors made for a long-term friendship and an interesting collaborative art show in Robbinsdale.
In today's Weekend Showcase, Neil Persley introduces us to the artists and their exhibit at Gallery 5004.
We are neighbors. She lives around the corner from me.
We met actually at the Textile Center.
So I met her at one of the alumni exhibitions and we started to talk.
Kim walked across the room, introduced herself, and asked for a ride home. And I said, sure, where do you live? She said, behind Matt's bar, right by you.
And then we just kept talking and finding it out that we have all sorts of things in common.
I would say by late last year, we kind of knew that we were going to work together somehow. We didn't know how.
The how came when Gallery 5004 and Kim were talking about a show she could do, and she could invite a guest to show with her. Kim's interests lie in three-dimensional art, handmade paper and sculpture. The materials that she works in vary greatly.
I mostly work additively, so that's kind of the common thread among all of these materials. But I'm also interested in working subtractively, so I'm going to start carving again.
Susan does some amazing things with computer embroidery.
I've been working in digital embroidery for about 5 years, I think, now. What attracted me to the embroidery in the first place, which was how the light skitters across these threads and changes your perception of three-dimensionality and of color.
The geometric elements in each artist's work allow the pieces in the show to be very complementary of each other.
The favorite piece is always the thing I'm going to do next.
For a Weekend Showcase from Gallery 5004 in Robbinsdale, Neil Persley, CCX News.
And you can see their exhibit this Saturday from noon until 4 at Gallery 5004. Never know what your neighbor's up to, right? Unless you ask.
That's a cool meeting, yeah.
That does it for us. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great holiday weekend, and we'll see you again next week.